What a crazy week for Kamalas out there, right? We have Kamala Harris, and then now we have the passing of Kamala. A good week and a bad week for Kamala. Peace to him.
It's a mixed bag.
Mixed bag for Kamala. Kamala week. This should be known as Kamala week for sure.
The following announcement has been paid for by the Put Me Over podcast.
Hey guys, what's up? We're here for another episode. We're missing Drew. I think he followed Connor into the wasteland or some shit. He might be busy, but shout out to him. Hope he's doing well. We're here. It's just me, Byron, Dick, and Bobby going by our unkayfabe names today.
It's kind of a weird week. It's obviously abbreviated. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Well, there is quite a bit to talk about. It really happened more so last week. Obviously, we can't not mention the passing of Kamala. Kamala passed away at the age of 70. He was definitely an interesting character in the wrestling business. He started off working for Jerry Lawler. Actually, Jerry Lawler came up with the idea of having this Ugandan giant. And you look back at it now and you see someone like a Kamala. Can a Kamala work nowadays in 2020? It's such a different era.
Right. It's so racist too. Like even when I was a kid, I remember asking my dad, like, "Hey, do all Africans look like that, or why is he not wearing shoes?" Like I was always confused on what. Yeah. Crazy racist time.
Like they put every stereotype on what an African man was or they thought was at the time. Uncivilized, didn't speak, apparently was a cannibal. This is just a lot, dude. And you look back at then and you look at it now, like someone like him could not. There's no way his gimmick would work now in 2020. But I mean, just real quick, what do you guys have any Kamala memories as far as matches or any type of special segments that you want to share?
No, other than the fact that he was kind of jobber adjacent. Although he was a pretty good worker, surprisingly, and again, he worked barefoot, which I'd always be concerned even as a young kid. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, other than just seeing him on Superstars on Saturdays, there was no big. He didn't have any 5-star matches, to me at least, or none that I can recollect. What about you, Bobs?
Not really. I mean, I vaguely even remember him as a wrestler. I just remember, he just never talked. He always slapped his stomach, and it was just like he would just let out these grunts. But no match like comes to mind when I think of him. It's odd, but I know him as a wrestler.
Right. What a crazy.
A lot of people probably remember him best as having his feud with the Undertaker back in the early 90s. And after, a little bit after that, we turned babyface. He did these skits with Reverend Slick, where he was trying to civilize them. They taught him how to bowl. Yeah. They taught him how. A couple of other things. I remember the bowling one was the one I remember the most. And I think that's just the things. Like we remember Kamala from WWE and a little bit of the WCW, more so in the early 90s than in the late 80s, because in the late 80s he was there for a little bit and he did have a run with Hulk Hogan. Mm-hmm. And they were doing pretty good business back in the 80s. But there's a lot more to Kamala than just working for WWE. But definitely 70 years old. Apparently
he's only
70, yeah.
Damn.
He's had a lot of health problems, but I think he did contract COVID. And that might have been the cause of his death.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Wow. What a crazy week for Kamalas out there, right? We have Kamala Harris, and then now we have the passing of Kamala. A good week and a bad week for Kamala. Peace to him.
It's a mixed bag.
Mixed bag for Kamala. Kamala week. This should be known as Kamala week for sure.
Yes, the Kamala week.
Just to kind of change course a little bit. WWE for the longest has been trying to have SummerSlam outside of the PC. Originally, it was supposed to be in Boston, and of course, due to COVID and due to the pandemic, they had to change plans. And they were doing it at the Performance Center for the longest, but it appears that that might not be the case for SummerSlam, and actually for a select few shows in the next coming weeks, as they're going to be filming SummerSlam from the Amway Center.
They're filming it. It's not gonna be live.
It'll be live. It'll be live, but it'll just be at the Amway Center. I don't know if it's going to be entirely live. I mean, it could be possible they might have a cinematic match for the card. We don't know yet. The card hasn't been fully revealed yet, but it appears that they're going to have the actual event at the Amway Center instead of the PC. I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, it's they obviously can't have a crowd. They're not going to be able to have a paid attendance, something Vince really wanted to have.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were going to have that because I noticed AEW is starting to have like audience members and stuff. Even some soccer matches had people in the audience, so maybe they're not paid, but maybe they were invited.
The thing with AEW was that they were invited. They don't have paid fans there, and they've been doing it for a while. If you notice on some of the episodes of Dynamite, they were segregated from the crowd. A couple of weeks ago, when they did have fans, they were all the way up in the upper deck. It looked like this week that some were in the upper deck and some were, with the crowd, but it was more of a private invitation than having actual fans there and purchasing the ticket and being in the crowd. I don't know if it may not be a while before any major promotion does that.
No.
I know certain indie shows have been kind of trying to put shows outside and trying to draw a crowd. But as far as WWE having a live crowd for SummerSlam, it appears that's not going to be the case. But we'll see how this the SummerSlam is going to be at the Amway Center. What do you guys think?
That's kind of crazy. I mean, really happy for them that they're trying it out, seeing what they can do, because watching the PC week to week, it gets kind of old and boring. Even AEW, that's why the Raw Underground, to me, hit so hard, because it came at a time when you were just getting hit with the same shit every fucking week. But yeah, good luck. I hope it's success, and I hope the matches are good. Big arena feel.
I mean, I think that everyone's looking for something different for these shows, and it kind of sucks that they're always the same. They let fireworks off and stuff, try and make it look different, but it generally always looks the same, and it kind of gets tiresome, and it feels like you're watching the same show over and over again. So hopefully this is a change up and they're able to record something there, other stuff to put on the show to divert away from the same performance center every week.
Right. And that's where the Orlando Magic plays, so that's going to be nuts. It's a big arena, full-on arena.
Yeah.
So.
And see, that's my thing, is that if you're going to have the same amount of people that are there at the PC going to be at the Amway Arena when they do SummerSlam, it just feels like it's so empty. But I don't want to say I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, but let me see what they do, and maybe I'll withhold judgment before I think it's a good idea or a bad idea. I mean, I don't know why they didn't want to do, if they could have done an outdoor setting. They're in Florida, summertime. They could have been done it at a beach.
Right.
Yeah.
And there were talks about, Vince McMahon has his own personal yacht. They could have done it on his yacht. I mean, there could have been other ways around it. There could have been creative ways around to doing it, but to do it in an empty arena, I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt for this one, although I know better than not to give them the benefit of the doubt, but we'll see. We'll see how this turns out. And SummerSlam is going to be, I believe it's going to be, is it next week?
I think it is, actually.
I believe so. Let me double check, because
wow.
I know WWE is going to be very busy pay-per-view wise. They're going to have SummerSlam, and then the week after that they're going to have Payback.
Yeah, they're doing week after week, and then also they're doing NXT next weekend too.
Oh, so
right?
It's next weekend.
It is. Okay, so it is. Next week's going to be quite interesting, because Dynamite is going to be on Saturday the 22nd. TakeOver is going to be the same day as well. I don't believe they're going to be competing directly. They might have an hour overlap where they'll be competing directly, if I'm not mistaken. And then Sunday's SummerSlam, and then the week after that's Payback. So this week's going to be quite interesting as far as the go-home shows for all three brands on WWE, to see how they delivered, because I thought Raw was good this week for the ending for Ric Flair and Randy Orton. I thought that was a good way to to get Ric Flair out of the PC.
Hopefully for good.
He shouldn't. I don't know why they had him in there to begin with. They didn't really need Flair for that storyline at all. But it makes Randy more of a killer, and we'll see what happens to see if he's ready for. It appears it's going to be him and Drew at SummerSlam, so we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, hopefully they get the title off. We'll see. But yeah, other than that, Raw was kind of like blasé. Do you guys have any like big takeaways from Raw?
No,
they did.
I didn't catch it. I mean, it just did nothing. Because I don't watch it live because I don't have cable, so I catch it afterwards. But I see everything on the internet.
Right.
Instagram, WWE posts it like immediately after the show, so I catch it on there, and like if it looks interesting, I'll watch it. But honestly, nothing looked interesting. Even that Randy Orton, Ric Flair thing, it didn't look interesting. Like, what are they doing?
Right. And honestly, Bobby, by what you just said right now, I think that's what's going on with all wrestling. People like are just bored of it, and then they'll look at the timelines or social media or websites to see if anything will happen, and then watch it in reverse versus watching it live, unless there's an advertised big match or something, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. And watching it afterwards, you're able to fast forward through all the gunk and junk that you don't want to watch. So it makes it easier to handle rather than sit there for 3 hours watching wrestling.
That's essentially Raw every week for me. Like,
yeah.
I won't watch Raw live. I actually won't watch any of the shows live. I'll watch them on a slight delay, so that way I can go ahead and, like, if I need especially fast forwarding through the commercials. But with Raw, I make it a priority where I wait until like it's completely done, and then let me go ahead and watch it.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to say real quick about Raw was the Raw Underground. Dolph Ziggler was back on there, and he lost. And I don't know why. I mean, it seems like if you're trying to build him up for Dolph Ziggler to do something, and then only to have him lose, it's like, well, what's the point of having him? He's just like, can you really take someone like a Dolph Ziggler seriously?
Yeah, he's a high-end jobber now, pretty much. Gatekeeper.
Yeah, he's really been like that for years, where he'll have like a rare, like, well, we can go ahead and push this guy, and there's nothing against Dolph Ziggler. He's a talented dude. He should really be more than what he really is at this point, but he's just pigeonholed to have that role, and that's what WWE sees him as a guy who can get people over. He's an enhancement talent, a glorified enhancement talent, basically.
He's a mid talent. That's all he is.
Yeah.
Keep him there.
That's crazy. What did you guys think of that? I think Drew tweeted it out, or you guys might have DM'd me, or one of you guys did. That new TNT title on AEW.
Oh yeah. We shared it in our little chat, and dude, it looks nice. I'm actually like, looks better than it was before because it's just silver and red.
It's gold now, huh? It's like
they made everything gold. It's got a little bit of silver in it, but I think it looks like a championship for sure.
Well, it's definitely an improvement for the 24/7 title they had before, but but hopefully give some prestige, because I'm still not feeling AEW week to week. It's although the Orange Cassidy thing was a highlight, he actually beat Jericho, which in the sloppiest finish, by the way.
I wasn't a big fan of that match. Their first match was way better. It's just for whatever reason, this match, it just didn't seem like they were. It felt off, and I'm glad you mentioned Jericho, because that last Saturday Fozzy did play at Sturgis, and depending on how what reports you heard, I mean, and whether or not it was outdoors or indoors. But there was a couple photos where it definitely looked like that the crowd, they weren't wearing masks, they weren't social distancing. Whether or not if it was an outdoor or an indoor venue, it just seemed like it was just a recipe for disaster. But Jericho did defend his reasoning behind it, saying that the band was in the bus the entire time, and they would only come out when they was ready to play. And as soon as they played, they left. Those who were in the attendance, they were in the crowd, they were given masks if they weren't masked up. They took temperature checks. Apparently, they did all these protocols to make sure that no one came in sick. And then apparently he did wrestle on Wednesday, so he tested negative on it, but at the same time, though, this could have been a disaster.
It probably is.
What was that, Brian?
I said it's probably going to be people affected by COVID for sure from that show. Probably.
And that's the thing. It's like he tested negative on that Wednesday. You know, he's still not out of the woods yet, and neither is anyone else in AEW that has interacted with them. So we don't like. It just seems like it was like I understand Jericho. You know, he thought he did everything he could possible to not put anyone in danger. But at the same time, maybe it's not a good idea. Well, let's see. I'm going to be wrestling in a couple days. Maybe I shouldn't really be doing this concert at all. You know, it was kind of like I could see it both ways. But
he's already announced that he's going to have like a bunch of shows. So I mean, I guess because you know that he's going to have these shows, so he's going to be gone for like I think it was from like October to like December. So he's got all these, he's got all these shows lined up, and you know, I hope he's not wrestling then because then he's putting the show at risk. Because one person gets sick, then more people get sick, and then there goes the show, and AEW's done for a couple months.
Right.
You know, and it could just ruin everything. He tried to make it like okay, like there's that over where Sturgis was, there was only like a couple hundred. Infected or whatever for the day or something like that. So he was trying to make it sound okay, but realistically, dude, just don't have the show, man.
Yeah, chill out, bro. No one
I agree. It was not a good idea for him to have it. In his mind, he thought he did everything he could to have the show. Yeah. So I get why he did that, but at the same time, it's like there's a pandemic going on, and then on top of that, you have. You have the AEW crew on TV pretty much calling WWE's the way WWE handled the pandemic. Yeah. At the same time, it's kind of like, well, they didn't do a good job at handling the pandemic, but yet we have one of our top guys going out to a concert or a rally in North Dakota with 250,000 people, and
not to mention
the smartest idea.
Not to mention, like. If you end up getting COVID and you end up going to the hospital and they go, well, how did you get it? What happened? I went to a Fozzy show. Bro, come on. Just stay home. Who's actually putting themselves out there to go to a Fozzy show and get COVID? That's what I want to know. I want to know who are those people, because why are you putting yourself at risk for Fozzy among all bands?
I don't know. But people... They're dying to go to concerts. They're dying to get to life as quickly as normal as possible, as quickly as possible. And
you couldn't pay me enough to go to a concert and it be Fozzy right now. Right.
Let alone Fozzy.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah. I don't really care about Judas, that song, too much. I'm all right.
I'll listen to it on the radio, dude.
Yeah.
That's Jericho's intro, and that's it. But going back to what you said about Jericho having that 2-month tour, I don't think he's going to come back. So, I mean, him losing to Cassidy was the right move. I think he's going to be gone for a little bit. Especially now. I mean, there's no point of him coming back,
right?
And then going back and forth with the shows is just not worth it. So I think he's going to be gone for a while. I did like the tag team segment since we're talking about Dynamite. I thought they did a great job with having the Rock and Roll Express, Tully and Arn, the Bucks, and FTR in all in the ring. And FTR did turn. They gave Ricky Morton the spike pile driver. God bless Ricky Morton. The guy's 63, 64 years old, and he's still taking bumps.
Looks every bit of it.
He looks every bit of it, but he's still going out there, man. I give him credit.
Yeah. He's looking pretty old, man.
Yeah.
Pretty old.
But another thing, dude, Mike Chioda.
Ooh, this is
on AEW.
I was checking out
Mike Chioda. Yes, he was actually there. I don't know if it's a one-time thing or if it's going to be permanent, but he was refereeing the main event.
Right, Mike Chioda, not to be confused with Mike Shinoda. I always get the two mixed up. But dude, how good is JR? JR is a super good commentator. Like the little nuance thing when he said, "Don't adjust your screen. It is Mike Chioda," or something like that. Some call he made. I was like, "Fuck, that's a good ass call."
Yep.
That's
Dude,
a
he's
good
so
ass
good,
call.
man.
When he's on his A game, JR is very good. I know he gets bashed quite a bit. He tends to get more criticisms than praises. But when he's on his A game, he's very good. He's he's the best.
I guess we could pose that question too. It's not the end, but we'll pose this to our people. If they think Mike Chioda is the best ref of all time, we'll save our opinions for next week. I guess we can kind of engage what people decide.
He did do the final pin for the Orange Cassidy and Jericho. He's tapped 4 times. I was like, bro, you've been officiating for like 30, 40 years, man? Like, how are you tapping 4 times for the win, dude?
You know, I've noticed it quite a bit in referees as well, like where they would tap like multiple. They tap more than what they're calling out. So
Yeah.
it does happen. I'm not gonna criticize Kyota for that. It just happens. It's more of a referee thing.
He's been out of wrestling for a while.
Right.
It's been a couple months. I mean, he was released back in April.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
Nice.
And
Nice
he was hella
vacation.
sweaty. It was super humid there, right? Because that boy was sweating.
In Florida, hell yeah.
I was like, God damn. But yeah, it looks like they're setting up Moxley and MJF too.
Oh, since we're talking about that, I love MJF. I mean, I whenever I get a chance to praise MJF, I'll praise him. I think he's the best heel in the business right now. You name me a better heel.
He's the best heel in the business.
Randy Orton.
What? I don't know if he's a great
Put
wrestler.
MJF higher.
No, man, because we're talking about professional wrestling. He's not a wrestler like Bobby just said right now. I don't think he's that good in ring. I mean,
Yeah.
he's Enzo at best right now. He's doing too much, to be honest.
Ooh, I don't know if he's Enzo. He's not.
No, he's
that
not
bad.
Enzo. No, he's not. For him being in the ring, for him being 24 years old, he can carry himself.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think he should be the AEW champion, not yet. But
No.
for him, his age, for what he can do in the ring, he still has a lot to learn in the ring. But the way he carries himself on the mic is second to none. I can't think of anyone who can match up with MJF wit-wise or mic-wise. I can't think of anyone.
He's
No.
He's like Enzo and like Enzo Tiano. I'm just kidding. He's like Enzo More. But like he's just mad corny. Like he's doing
Yeah.
too much.
MJF is mad corny?
Yeah, he's so corny to me.
I don't know about
I
that.
don't know about that. But I thought that I don't know if you guys saw that video that I posted of him pushing the guy, and it was who did he push? Because he was in WWE. He was in the Performance Center.
Yeah, let me explain that one. So the video Bobby's talking about was he was in WWE about a year ago, and there was a segment where Joe was walking toward the ring, and he had a bunch of security guards with him, and he was trying to get closer to Joe, or at least try to be like in the same length, and Joe just shoves him to the side, like, "Hey, get the fuck away from here." And on this segment of Dynamite, I'm trying to remember what I think it was Lee Johnson. Lee Johnson's one of his bodyguards, and he was nowhere near MJF, but MJF, being the dick that he is, just shoves him for no reason, kind of essentially parodying what happened last year on Raw when he made his appearance.
Yeah, it was like, "You're in my shot."
That shit
Here's
is
my
pretty,
shot, Bozo. Get out of here.
that shit's pretty hilarious though. But
Yeah.
yeah, stupid camera angles laying on the when he's laying on the ring. I'm like, this is too stupid. This is dumb.
I like it. I like it.
All right, he better lose too. And Mox looks terrible. Mox is the champ, like the guy. Nah, over, bro.
Like I said, I don't see MJF being champion yet. That's down the road. I don't see a title change happening anytime soon. I know we're going to give our predictions a couple weeks, but I still don't see it happening.
No.
I think it's just opponent for now until they get past All Out.
Yeah.
Well, SmackDown was interesting because they had that women's battle royal. I think you were talking about it, Dick. How you think that Asuka is gonna kind of take on both title contenders. I mean,
Yeah, look, real quickly about SmackDown. So they called it a triple threat elimination, whatever. I don't know what they said something like that, which didn't make much sense. But I noticed that it was I noticed Asuka was in the Battle Royal. I'm like, why is she in the Battle Royal? if she has a match against Sasha at SummerSlam. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, she's probably going to win it.
Right.
Because they kept mentioning that Sasha and Bayley both have title matches at SummerSlam, and then the week after, they're going to have to defend their tag titles. And it was like, I see it. Okay. The match itself was not very good. It was not good, actually. Did you guys see where Shayna almost killed? I think she almost killed Shotzi. As a matter of fact, she was trying to do something. I think it was Shotzi, but she was trying to do like a power bomb or gut wrench power bomb, and she almost landed on her neck. It looked pretty bad. But yeah, it was not very good. It did tell the story of Asuka winning and to further friction amongst Sasha and Bayley. Is it going to be a triple threat match? Is Asuka going to wrestle twice? I mean, we'll see. They didn't quite explain it tonight. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out on next week. That's going to be the go home shows for SummerSlam. Did you guys see the ending for Braun and the Fiend and Alexa Bliss? Byron has a smile on it, so I'll let you go ahead and talk about it.
Well, first of all, what do you guys think about the look, bald Braun? Think it was time, or you think?
I think him and the Fiend need to give up the hairdo. Their hair is so thin, dude. So thin. It's like ready to like pull out, dude. Like just let it go, dude. Be like Corbin and just know that it's not going. Just take it off, dude. You got the beard. Just let the rest of it go, dude.
Yeah, Braun looked kind of fishy to me, but I think you talked about it before we went on, Bobby, about you're kind of confused on where it's going, the whole Bliss, Braun, Fiend thing.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. So you got the Fiend, he's a heel, but then is Braun going heel? We had this whole thing where the Fiend turns the people he fights into whatever their opposite. So if they're heel, they turn face.
Their personality changes when they interact with the Fiend.
Yeah, so he had his match with the Fiend. So is he turned heel now? So you're gonna have heel versus heel? I just don't know where they're going. I don't get it.
You think they're turning? You think they're turning the Fiend face? Huh?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't get that vibe as far as I mean, I'm sure if eventually that might be the plan as far as the Fiend being a baby face, but I don't know if you can do that right. I mean, I don't think he's ready right now, let alone there's no crowd. So another thing to consider is like, how are we gauging it?
Yeah.
So I don't think he is anytime soon. What's going to happen with Braun after SummerSlam? I think we kind of get an idea of as far as who's going to win this match come SummerSlam. I know it's too early for predictions again, but I feel like that's the direction they're going to go.
What I'll say is I hope they turn him into a faction.
Oh.
So it'll be Braun, the Fiend, and Alexa Bliss, like all three of them, like as a team, like a little faction, a bad guys faction. That would be cool. Get them on the Firefly Funhouse. Get them on there. Create some like characters for them. I think that could be fun, but is that what WWE is going to do? Probably not.
I honestly don't know what they're going to do. So
yeah,
I mean, that could be possible.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Hopefully, that's I didn't even think about that, but that'd be a hell of a faction too.
Hell yeah, dude!
Both a women main eventer and a female main eventer that'd be pretty big time.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much all the shit.
NXT. Did you guys watch NXT this week?
Oh shit, you're right. That Finn Velveteen, the return of the rapist, as we like to call it.
Yeah. I got a couple things I want to talk about. I thought the Keith Lee, carrying cross contract signing was actually pretty interesting. They ended up doing like a contract signing, and as Keith Lee opened up the contract, he got blinded by fire, and he had to be sent to the hospital. I thought that was pretty cool. They finally did something different with the contract signing. Are you guys sold on Karrion Kross? Let me get your guys' thoughts on it.
Not yet. I haven't seen enough to let me know he's part on Keith Lee's level because Keith Lee's the man. And shout out to Keith Lee for going extra overboard acting with that fireball.
He did, yeah.
That's pretty bad. But yeah, what do you think, Bobby, about KK?
I'm not sold on it at all. I think that they pulled the trigger on him way too early. They threw him in that limelight real fast.
So fast.
I think that they kind of screwed him on that one, and they should have let him go after some lower guys for a while, a little longer. But I'm not sold on it. Keith Lee's keeping that belt, dude. He better keep that belt.
Right.
That's the thing. Is like I don't know what's their goal. Like as far as Karrion Kross, I'm actually sold on him. He looks like a legit main eventer. He looks like someone that Vince can get his hand like Vince could see him like, oh, we got to push this guy. He has the size. He has the look.
So you're saying Vince can ruin him real quick then?
Is that what
you know what? More likely, yeah, he will. But I think Karrion has that advantage over, say, an Adam Cole. Just the physical gifts. That gives him the advantage. And when it's Vince's company, you're going to have that advantage. When you're physically taller, when you're more muscular, when you have those physical assets to you, you're going to be given more opportunities. And that's traditionally been the case. And not to mention just his gimmick. I just like the gimmick where it's like, this is a guy where he is a destroyer. Like, he will fuck you up.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited, but like to agree with Bobby, I don't think he's at that level. That the Keith Lee level, we'll call it, which is pretty untouchable right now.
To put him as the champion, I mean, I agree. I agree with you guys. I still think I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, what's the plan? I mean,
my thing is future-wise, he definitely has all it takes to be a great, like one of the greats. But right now, no. I think they pulled the trigger on him way too early. They should have.
Well, if he loses, they did.
Yeah.
And what do you do after that? But if he wins, then why put the belt on Keith Lee? It's kind of like, what's going to happen?
But see, the thing is, if Keith Lee loses, the reason why he lost. It's because Vince McMahon wants him in that main event spotlight at the WWE, like Raw and SmackDown.
Right.
He doesn't want.
Well, that's the thing is like if he loses, in all likelihood he should be going to either Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah.
We don't know that because look what happened with Rhea Ripley when she lost at WrestleMania. We all thought, oh, she's going to go to Raw and she's going to feud with Charlotte.
No, they jobbed her to Charlotte.
She's still on NXT. I don't know.
They jobbed her to Charlotte. That was a bad move. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm interested to see where it goes too. Definitely.
I am too. And then just real quickly so we mentioned Velveteen Dream. He's back officially. He didn't win that triple threat match against it was him, Grimes, and who was the third person?
The Asian guy,
Kushida. And it was a good match. I honestly would have gone with Kushida. I think Kushida would have been a better fit. But they're very high on Cameron Grimes. I mean, Trevor Lee is a good talent, great talent. I'm just not a fan of his gimmick. I'm just really not. But in the ring, he can go. So I'm okay with it. It was quite interesting that Velveteen did turn at the end. It appears that he's going to be turning heel because he beat the crap out of Kushida after. Where do you see Velveteen Dream? Like, what are your guys' thoughts on him?
He's definitely going to the main roster soon. I think this was him with Finn is a setup for him to jump ship because it's time, man. He's been been in NXT as long as like Gargano and them. So it seems.
He's been there for a while though. The difference being though is, Gargano's been a wrestler much longer than Velveteen Dream.
Also, Gargano doesn't have any rape accusations.
So. Oh yeah, that's a big.
Well, that's another thing as well because before I want to get into that, Dream, he hasn't really impressed me. He didn't impress me that much this match. It was one match, but even before that, it didn't seem like anything spectacular. It seemed like it was kind of the same. If maybe he downgraded, perhaps I don't know. But we'll see what happens, what they're going to do with him. And of course, we mentioned like the rape accusations. He's back. Obviously, if WWE found something that they didn't like, he would have been brought back. Do you guys have anything you want to add or anything you want to say about the Velveteen Dream?
He looked a little rusty too. Like he wasn't as fluid. But I hope he comes back.
It's been a couple of months.
Yeah, you could tell he's lost a little bit of that, but he's young. Hopefully, he comes back and rebounds to be the guy we think he could all be.
Yeah. What also doesn't help is that apparently he's there's been reports that he's been getting backstage heat as far as getting preferential treatment from the higher ups. I don't know as far as what exactly that entails. I mean, maybe this might have something to do with these accusations and how WWE kind of may have possibly stuck their neck out for him. It just seems like there's just a lot of trouble involving Mr. Clark at the moment, and he's not quite out of the woods yet. So we'll see. We'll just have to see what happens down the road. If he's going to go to the main roster, he might stay because he's been in NXT for quite a few years. I don't know if he was consistently wrestling, I would say, yeah, go ahead and bring him to the roster, to either Raw or SmackDown. But he's been in and out for a while, so I don't know. I mean, until he gets his rhythm back, then I would ask the question of whether or not you want to put him on a Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see the fate of him. But I think we're almost out of time. Our Zoom meeting's about to end. Anybody have last thoughts?
Well, we had that Mike Chioda. Did you guys want to save that?
Yeah, well, no.
How much time we got?
No, we'll just ask that question. We'll talk about it now, then we can.
And we can get Drew's thoughts as well next week.
Yeah, we'll discuss the results. Too. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think Mike Chioda is the greatest ref? I'm going to say no already, and I'll tell you who I think is better. You guys probably know who's better already. But, yeah, is Mike Chioda the best referee of all time? Yes or no, agree, disagree, whatever you want. Let us know, whatever. Anybody have any last closing thoughts?
Nah. Wrestling's kind of boring.
Yeah. Before we go then, who do you guys got, Stipe or Cormier?
Ooh.
That's a tough one, man.
This is going to be recorded. I'm going to rub it in your face.
They're 1-1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Personally, I would rather have Miocic win. Because I want him to win because he has more. He's going further.
Right.
Whereas if DC wins, he's retiring right after this.
He's retiring either way.
Yeah.
Right?
So I wouldn't want him to win. Although I love DC, though. DC's my boy.
So let's make our picks. Pick one, guys.
I want to say DC.
Ooh, by knockout.
But I don't want him to win though.
I don't know. I saw the weigh-in, and I saw how much. Like I saw Stipe. He's in shape. He's ready to go.
He's got that.
Yeah.
He's been out for a bit.
He's been out for a while, but I never seen him look that good in a long time.
Checking him out.
Wow.
Duh.
There's something we should know.
DC.
Hot.
DC is his last match. I mean, it'd be nice for him to get a win, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna go Stipe on this one. I think Stipe's gonna KO DC in retirement.
What? I'm going DC knockout.
You know, if this was a legit WWE wrestling match, DC would be putting over Stipe.
Has to.
So like, he would all right, bro. The rest is you. Take over.
Yeah, but this is it, and DC's gonna go out on top.
I would love it.
I would like it. I would like it too, but I mean, I'm gonna play devil's advocate and go with Stipe on this one.
Who'd you get, Bobby? Did you say Stipe too?
DC's gonna win.
I'm the one that went Stipe.
Crazy. We'll see you then. All right, guys.
All right.
See you guys next week.
Too sweet.
Oh shit. Not ending.